The Codex of Insight, Volume 1, The Reflection of the Hidden Path. The solution is always in the problem, for the problem is not a punishment but a puzzle, crafted by the very hands that seek to solve it. It is the echo of understanding concealed within challenge, a message in a bottle, cast not by fate but by the soul itself. We put it there so we can find it easy, for the divine mind is both architect and wanderer. It leaves behind a trail of clues, hiding the key beneath the stone of our own choosing, so that when it is uncovered, we may rejoice not in luck, but in remembrance. The question and the answer are not enemies, they are lovers dancing in sacred tension. What binds them is purpose, what separates them is perception, for every lock carved in suffering is engraved with a shape that matches the soul's own key. Volume 2, The Way of Love. All you have to do is love everyone. Everything. This is the first truth and the final act. Not for reward, not for purity, but because all things, be they dark or light, are of one origin. Love is not the absence of conflict, nor is it blind approval. Love is the full awareness of another's soul, seen through the lens of unity. To love the cruel, to embrace the broken, to offer warmth to the cold-hearted, this is not weakness. This is the fire that melts illusion. What is unloved remains unseen. What is unseen remains misunderstood. And what is misunderstood is feared. But perfect love casts out fear, for in love all things are revealed and redeemed. And remember, they love you even if you think they don't. For the soul knows what the mind forgets. Every spirit cries out for connection, even through the veil of hate, even behind the fortress of pain. If one speaks in anger, hear the ache behind the thunder. If one turns away, feel the shame that shadows their retreat. There is no soul untouched by longing. Even those who war against the world carry the sword of separation to protect a wounded child within. Volume 3, The Wisdom of Ignorance. Never attribute to malice what can be attributed to ignorance. This is the gentle law of understanding. For cruelty is rare, but confusion is common. Many act not out of hatred but blindness. They strike not because they wish to harm, but because they do not know another way to reach. Ignorance is not evil, it is simply the first stage of awakening. Judge not the hand that lashes out, for it may be a hand that has never been held. Condemn not the voice that speaks in venom, for it may be the voice of one never listened to. The wise do not wage war on ignorance, they teach. They do not answer confusion with rage, but with patience, like sunlight gently coaxing the flower from the bud. To see the difference between malice and ignorance is to gain the eyes of compassion. To act upon that vision is to become a bearer of light in a land still shadowed. Volume 4, The Great Return. Know this, all things return. Every wound seeks healing. Every exile searches for home. And every heart, no matter how lost, was once aflame and will be again. The problems we face are not barriers, they are invitations. They summon forth the hidden strength, they draw from within the soul the blueprint of its own salvation. And when love is chosen, again and again, despite ignorance, despite pain, despite betrayal, then the veil lifts. The one who loves without condition sees through all illusion and becomes the solution incarnate. In the end, there is no enemy, there is no other. There is only the self, learning to love itself through a million mirrors. So look into the world as one looks into a sacred pool, and behold, the reflection is not separate. It is the key and the door and the one who walks through. Volume 5, The Flame of Inner Stillness. Within the quietest breath lies the loudest truth. Stillness is not the absence of movement, but the presence of undisturbed being. To know peace is not to flee from the world, but to dwell within it, unshaken by its winds, unburned by its fire. The storm outside may rage, but the soul's eye remains still, watching, listening, waiting. Here, in this sacred silence, truth speaks. Meditation is the remembering of what is always known. It is not discovery, but return. Return to the throne within, where the eternal self watches the play unfold. The voice of wisdom does not shout, it whispers, and only those who have quieted their fear will hear it clearly. The alchemy of suffering. Suffering is the furnace where form is reshaped. It is not the end, but the forge, not the enemy, but the sculptor's hand. Pain, when embraced with clarity, becomes a passage, a sacred threshold through which the soul expands. That which wounds awakens, that which breaks opens, and that which burns away reveals the indestructible core beneath. The wise do not flee pain, they sit with it, they listen, and in listening, they extract the teaching wrapped in sorrow. From suffering emerges compassion, from compassion, wisdom, and from wisdom, the birth of sacred power, the power to heal, to hold, to guide. Volume 7, The Mirror of All Things. The world is not separate from the self, it is the self reflected. Every person encountered, every moment experienced, is a mirror polished by divinity to show the soul a fragment of itself. Judge not the mirror, see what it reveals. For what angers, attracts, or unsettles is often the echo of what is hidden within. There is no other. There is only the sacred projection of consciousness weaving a tapestry of mirrors, so the one may know itself in infinite forms. When the mirrors are embraced instead of shattered, the illusion of separation dissolves, and all that remains is the eternal eye, seeing itself in every eye. Volume 8, The Infinite Choice. Choice is the great gift, the sacred tool of creation. In every breath, a decision is made to contract or to expand, to fear or to love. Freedom is not granted by fate, but by awareness. To choose consciously is to awaken. To choose with love is to ascend. Every soul walks a unique spiral, but all spirals rise. The direction is determined by the choices made when no one is watching. The power to transform lies not in fate or force, but in the smallest act of will. A word spoken with care, a silence chosen with wisdom, a gesture born of kindness. Destiny is not a path that unfolds ahead, it is a trail woven behind, stitched with every step of the sacred chooser. Volume 9, The Light of Humility. Humility is not the lowering of the self, but the raising of others into equal light. To be humble is to stand without armor, to speak without pride, and to shine without blinding. The mountain does not shout its height, nor does the sun boast of its fire. They simply are, and in their being bless the world. The truly powerful do not seek attention, they seek alignment. They do not conquer others, they master themselves. In humility, the soul becomes the vessel, and through that vessel, the infinite flows without resistance. Volume Text, The Paradox of Time. Time is the illusion that permits becoming. It stretches the eternal moment so that the soul may unfold in layers. The past is not behind, it is within. The future is not ahead, it is becoming now. All moments breathe together in the body of the present. Regret is the refusal to see that nothing is wasted. Fear is the illusion that what is to come is not already known by the soul. Patience is mastery of time. To wait without anxiety is to know that the fruit ripens not by force, but by alignment with the unseen rhythm. Time is the sacred spiral, not a straight road, and all who walk it are destined to meet themselves again, but higher, wiser, freer. Volume 7, The Voice of the Earth. The earth is not a place, it is a being. It breathes, it sings, it remembers. Every tree is a listener, every river a scribe, every stone a keeper of stories. The earth teaches in silence. It shows in cycles, revealing that death is not an end, but a turning. To walk gently upon the earth is to be in communion with the sacred. To harm her is to forget that she gave flesh to spirit. The earth does not demand praise, only presence. To see her, to feel her, to live in rhythm with her breath, this is worship in its truest form. Volume 12, The Return to the Source. All paths lead home. Whether paved in shadow or bathed in light, they wind toward the center. The source is not above nor distant. It is the heart of all things, the silence between thoughts, the love beneath fear. The soul is never separate from the source. It only dreams that it is. And the waking from that dream is called enlightenment. Return is not reversal, it is remembrance. Not going backward, but deeper into truth. When all seeking ends, when all striving ceases, there the source waits, not as a reward, but as what has always been.